Hey, everybody. Welcome to this introduction to A Course in Miracles. I've been wanting to do this for a really long time, and I'm just going to give you guys a quick little intro. This is going to be added to a new playlist for A Course in Miracles. So, this is to help you to embark on your A Course in Miracles journey. I've been a student of A Course in Miracles for quite some time, and we're going to go into basically interpreting A Course in Miracles, and I'm going to help you through the process. Before we embark, this is an introductory video about A Course in Miracles, and I'm going to cover just some best practices, how to study A Course in Miracles, what to expect, the need to knows, basically. So, A Course in Miracles is the words of Jesus Christ channeled through Helen Schucman. Now, a lot of people tiptoe around this and they're like, oh, like it might be Jesus. It sounds kind of like Jesus. It's the words of Jesus Christ channeled through Helen Schucman. Okay. Helen Schucman was an atheist psychoanalyst, and she did this in conjunction with her colleague. And they did this for 7 years. She channeled the voice of Jesus Christ through her after she received a series of, dreams, and she finally got an inner ear voice that said, this is A Course in Miracles, please take note. And it wouldn't leave her alone until she got up in the middle of the night and started writing things down. Okay. So that's just a little background. You can go more into the research on your own time. But I'm going to share a little bit about my own personal journey with A Course in Miracles, because this will be helpful for you. So I had a lifetime of clinical depression and anxiety, and then I had a spiritual awakening in the year 2016. And this was the catalyst for my spiritual awakening was intense suffering. It was a dark night that was so dark and so low and so deep. The despair actually triggered a spiritual awakening. That's the best way that I can put it, is that I came to a place of suffering that was so deep and so intense that I disidentified with the pain. I realized the only place for me, for my consciousness to go, was out of the pain. Now, this was not depersonalization. It was a shifting into the witness consciousness. I'd been studying spirituality and self-development for my whole adult life, but I hadn't actually experienced that witness consciousness on the level that I experienced it during my spiritual awakening. I was aware that I was aware many times throughout my life, but not to the depth that I had experienced during my spiritual awakening. Now, the caveat with the spiritual awakening was, you hear the word the spiritual awakening and you automatically assume that means that I was free of all suffering and that I was instantly healed of all ailments and all that stuff. That's not how it worked for me. For me, what happened was I came to the realization that, one, that I was not the pain, and two, that I had a choice to not suffer. And then what happened was I actually surrendered into wanting peace more than anything else. And so the rest of my life up to this point has been a journey of devotion to peace. And that, for me, is how I experienced a spiritual awakening. And when you devote yourself to peace, you get different tools along the way. And one of the tools that I was given during my process of healing was A Course in Miracles. So I actually had this book for 12 years before I actually opened it up and understood the words. And it was only during the spiritual awakening. It was only after that spiritual awakening when I came to understand the words of A Course in Miracles, because I had decided that I wanted peace in my life. And when you decide you want peace as the number one priority, and when you devote yourself to peace, your whole world changes and you start to understand things you didn't understand before. So after my spiritual awakening, I was still experiencing the energies of pain and anxiety. I just wasn't any longer identified with those things. However, those things still needed healing. And so I was given the very clear instructions. This was very guided, that it was time for me to actually commit myself to A Course in Miracles. It was, again, something I'd had this book for 12 years. I could not get rid of it. I didn't like it, didn't understand it. I tried and I tried, but I just didn't get it. And then finally, after my spiritual awakening, I opened the book and I read it, and it was clear as day to me. So that's my story with A Course in Miracles. As I read it, the energies of pain and anxiety began to lift and dissolve and just wash away. and I was brought to a place of sanity that I have not ever been able to escape. So it brings you to a place of sanity, so long as you have a willingness to abide there. Now, I'm still a human. I still have an ego. I still enjoy temporary periods of forgetfulness. I sometimes forget who I am, but the periods of that forgetfulness are so brief at this point that I enjoy most of my days are enjoyed in a place of sanity and peace and love. And so I'm really excited to offer this course to you. One last thing I'm going to talk about just very quickly to respect your time is some quick business. And the quick business is this does have Christian language. Okay. Now, if you're anything like me, the Christian language might have been a deterrent for you. It was for me, for many reasons. And this is not going to get. I'm not going to get into debating about religion here, but just from my own personal experience, Jesus Christ and his teachings, I believe, got lost in some of the sauce of the human interpretation of Scripture. And so I did not appreciate the Christian kind of ideology. As Gandhi said, I love Jesus Christ. I don't so much love the Christian, the way that Christians treat people. I went to homecoming with my gay best friend. I went to prom with a gay best friend. There's so many different reasons that the traditional Christian ideologies don't resonate with me at all. And so the Christian language, when I heard it, it was very much a deterrent for me. However, upon my spiritual awakening and upon opening my heart to this sacred scripture, I began to understand the Christian language as it's actually intended to be used, in a loving way, in a beautiful way. It's like nectar to the veins. It is stunning. The Christian language, spoken from the true Christian standpoint, spoken from the perspective of the unconditionally loving Jesus Christ. It is so healing and soothing. So make sure that you read. In the beginning, there's a terms kind of dictionary. Make sure that you read through that so that you understand things like atonement. Atonement actually means at one-ment, the forgiveness of, the completion of, letting go and fully releasing all that no longer serves you. That's atonement. Sin, that just means to misunderstand, to miss the mark. It always has meant that, and it always will mean that. There is no such thing as a cardinal sin that you need forgiveness for. There is no forgiveness needed for anything that you have done for any part of you. You are perfect and whole as you are. So sin means nothing more than to misunderstand or miss the mark. And to rectify sin means nothing more than to think clearly about who and what you are, and to have access to the present moment, which will absolve you of all sin. The Son, really quick, the Son means you and I, the Son, the capital S Son, you and I are one. We are rays of sun from the beloved. So another way to put that is son, meaning the parent-child relationship. How much does a father love his son? Unconditionally, perfectly, wholly. So we are that. The sonship points to the oneness, that you and I are one, that you and I are hands on the same glove, that you and I are actually not different at all. We are the same. Okay? And so, keeping all of these things in mind, and the one last thing I have to mention is there are no female pronouns in this book. I believe that was done intentionally by the beloved Jesus Christ, because there is no such thing as gender. There is no such thing as gender ultimately. So we are being that we are all one. He just stuck with one pronoun. That's fine. Wish he would have sprinkled a couple she's in there, but it's fine. We have to let that go. That's one thing that we just have to let go. And feel free to insert for yourself if you want to throw in a she, a her, a sister, whatever makes you feel good. You can do that. The course has no dealings with gender. It's just stuck with one pronoun the whole way through, I believe, because it doesn't so much matter. Okay. So, going forward, make sure that you do the lessons every day. If you miss a day, just keep going as usual. Don't skip over lessons. So if you do a couple lessons, you miss a day, pick up where you left off. If you miss more than a week, you need to start over. That means you're not yet ready. Or if you miss 2 weeks, it means you're not yet ready to commit to the course. It's time to just put it off until you're ready and then start over from the beginning. Okay, let's go ahead and get started with lesson number one. Lesson number one, you can click right here, or you can go to the playlist and go to lesson number one.